Thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Today we're talking about Sphere. Where do I start with this? I think that the main thing to say to you guys is that it's not a benefit for me whatsoever to run this training, financially speaking. I make significantly less money. The team makes significantly less money when you guys close your Sphere, especially as you progress in your business, as you become 80-20 brokers. We don't profit off of 80-20 brokers pretty much. So this is completely not self-serving whatsoever. This is entirely for you guys. And this is all stuff that, you know, I've learned over the years, that I've learned with my dad, that I've learned with Brian Buffini, that I've learned from all the mentors that I've had that have leveraged their Sphere really, really well. So I want you to know where this is coming from. And it's coming from a place of wanting you guys to be as successful as humanly possible. And for you guys to, and hopefully in this training as well, we're going to quell a little bit of that. What the fuck am I doing right now? You know, I've sold X amount of houses. You know, I've done my lead gen in the morning. I don't have any appointments this afternoon. What do I do? So we're gonna answer that question as well, because that's an important, because not everybody's got flyers to pass around. You know what I mean? Not everyone's decided that that's what they want to do with their business. The camera didn't see. I was pointing at Severo because he hands out flyers, but they don't get it. It's fine. So yeah, we're going to go over what a Sphere is, how to leverage it, how to manage it properly, and how to make it so that it's something that's consistent for you, something that can be self-sustaining. Because everybody wants a business where they can expect every year something. You know, nobody likes to start their year saying, "Oh my God, I don't know what's about to happen in my business." You know, and that does kind of happen a little bit in both ways, depending on how good you are on the phone. If you're really good on the phone, you don't have to worry about it. You can just say, it doesn't matter whether I know I'm going to get X amount of referrals this year, because I can just pick up the phone and make something happen. That's great. There's power in that. But if you don't have that insane, like, visceral skill over the phone, you need something like a good Sphere business to be able to say, okay, I can count on X amount of return on investment from my sphere of influence if I perform the actions that I've done over the last, let's say, 3 years. This is not an overnight thing, guys. When I teach Sphere, I think a lot of people think, okay, all I have to do is do this for like 2 weeks and I make $1 million. No, this is something that you're going to have to be consistent over, no joke, probably 2 years before you start seeing like real, you know, extrapolated results, not just one-off. Okay, a couple of sales came in, a couple of sales came in. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong. A couple of sales coming in and feeding your business is never a bad thing. But you're not going to feel the real, like, snowball effect of something pulling you, because that's really what happens when your Sphere starts really rolling, and all of a sudden you got this person that you just sold and they referred you to this person, and then you get a call from the person that you did a deal with 2 years ago and they referred you to this other person, and it feels like you're getting pulled by the business. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. And we're going to get into it now. So everybody needs to have a sphere of influence. And when I say need, I shouldn't have said that. What I should have said was everybody has one, whether you know it or not. Whether you're brand new in the business, whether you've been in the business for 8 years, you have one whether you know it or not. It's not just necessarily people you've done business with. It's everybody that you know. It's everybody that you know that could, in theory, refer you business. Okay, that is your database. That's your sphere of influence. Like, really, let's look at what I just said. Sphere of influence, right? Who do you hang out with? Who cuts your hair? Who dyes your hair? Who mows your lawn? Who built your deck? Who do you have communications with somewhat regularly? That is your sphere of influence. And of influence means, is it somebody that you can openly communicate with? Is it somebody that you can have a dialogue to impress upon them the importance of helping you? And maybe it's a business-to-business exchange where it is the guy who built your deck, and you can say, listen, I'm going to definitely shoot as many referrals your way as possible. Can I expect the same from you? That's a business-to-business type of relationship that you can have inside of your sphere, which is awesome. But that guy is within your sphere of influence. He is open to having a conversation with you where you can impart upon him the importance of him helping you out in your business. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So everybody, whether you have it on your phone, if you have it in your phone, open up Follow Up Boss app on your phone. If you have your laptop open, go into Follow Up Boss, go into your sphere, and the first thing we're doing is we're adding 5 names. Because there are way too many people here on Follow Up Boss that have not used the system to its full potential. And when I say full potential, I mean, we've got email templates, we've got action plans. We've got the ability to text people from the bloody application, and we're not doing it for our own sphere where you make the most amount of money. This is a necessity, guys. This is like a no-brainer activity. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and jog your memory. Okay? So if you need help with that, I'm gonna do a little bit up here for you guys. But if you guys have a laptop open, Google sales database memory jogger. And you'll get a million results of a whole bunch of PDFs with various questions to help jog your memory. Okay? So I'm going to throw up a couple here. So, do you guys know your bank teller? Do you know that person personally, let's say? Could you, yep, mechanic. Who fixes your car? Right? Hair. Who cuts your hair? Who dyes your hair? Who styles your hair?
That's a big one.
For the ladies and maybe some of the guys, if they get manicures, nails.
Actually, I just recruited the girl who does my nails and toes, and I'm so shocked because like they have a small, like in Galerie de Sauce,
Yeah.
like a small nail salon there.
Yeah.
And her budget is 900,000.
You'll love to hear
And
it.
they don't even need.
She an owner?
She doesn't need a mortgage apparently because everything is under the table. When you pay them cash, it's no tax. So they're accumulating
Yeah.
a shit ton of cash.
I love it.
tax,
That's
these
great.
People, and I was like, I didn't think that.
So nails.
That would be your budget. I thought like maybe a $400,000 condo or something. She's like $900,000 house in the West Side. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah.
Cousins, other family. I'm just gonna put family, etc. here because we don't know which, but
Organized sports.
yeah,
Like
sports
hobbies or
teams.
whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So sports teams that you might be playing with, right? So if I was still in hardcore production, I'd be talking to everybody on my flag team.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but if you're playing softball, if you're playing whatever, what about fantasy sports?
I'm gonna start handing out my business cards at UV in a minute.
There you go.
Because there's adults there too.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so funny, Severo. Holy crap! And I just want everyone to know that we got that on record. So I'm gonna highlight that and put it in the end of the year video or something. That'll be really fun. So yeah, hobbies that you do, and then you've got business to business as well beyond just, let's say, the obvious ones here. But there's business to business with like if you have a good inspector that you use, if you have good contractors, good plumbers, stuff like that. You know, it's tough. It can be tough, but if you have a good relationship with somebody, let's say you knew the guy before you even started being a plumber, then of course you got a nice in there. You can have a kind of what's the word?
Reciprocal?
Yeah, thank you.
I
Yeah.
think.
Sorry, my English was just like, what? Words? Because my other languages are so good. That's why, right? Not! But yeah, so this is just a memory jogger, just because I want you guys to add 5 names to your database right now. And I will be calling on you to see who these 5 people are that you've added. So, randomly, I'm not going to ask everyone to say it, but. I'm literally looking around and it's like, who does the merch for the team? The breweries that we buy the kegs from, right? There's, do you guys have a computer guy? Do you guys have a guy that fixes your computers? I don't know, whatever. Yeah, absolutely. The art dealers. Art dealers. Who else? But the idea is, the other thing too, guys, is when's the last time you told somebody that you were in real estate?
Yesterday.
And what was the situation there, Marty? If you don't mind me picking on you. What was the situation?
So it was my stepdad, and he was saying his daughter, his daughter's husband is looking for an investment property.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave my card to them, and he reached out to me after.
Okay. Awesome.
So it's indirectly,
Yeah.
you know.
Plus, your stepdad knew you were in real estate, anyways.
Yeah, but I don't think you mentioned it.
So it's an interesting thing, guys. It's like there's no value in being a secret agent.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sounds cool though.
Sounds cool, but it's not going to get you a yacht.
I push my sphere.
Yeah, you have to. You know, and we'll
Do you
go
give
through
an
that in a second.
incentive? Because I
No,
just,
I hate that. I hate that. So the question just for the microphone was, do you give an incentive? And no. First of all, we're not allowed. And then the second thing is it's just bad business practice. Because once you start, it becomes a race to the bottom. Because if you do that, and again, we're not allowed to do that, but if you were to do it because you see, I don't know, somebody else doing it, maybe a very well-known person that has hair very similar to yours does it, I think. But if they do that, it's a race to the bottom, because then a client who should be doing it out of love and loyalty for you to give a referral starts shopping it around.
I see what
I don't want that kind of economy going on. Like, I just want people who like the business that I did. If they start asking me, okay, well, what do I get? That's not the kind of relationship I want to have. I want him to want to refer me because I did a great job. And
But if it's not like a client, let's say like the girl I did my facial last week, and
Yeah.
I told her I'm an agent, and
Yeah.
I said I do give I said $200 gift card.
So you can-
not allowed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're not directly allowed to do that. I mean, there's certain gray areas when it comes to giving gift cards and stuff like that, because it's not cash.
Mhm.
But in theory, you shouldn't really need to do that. Like, in theory, you should have a nice conversation with her, go back for another one in like 2-3 weeks, have another conversation with her, and think about it. How much do you spend on the facial?
$100?
$100, cool. So imagine you go 5 times, you spend $500.
Yeah.
She refers you one client closes for $7,000 commission.
Mm-hmm.
Well worth it, I think.
Well worth it.
Yeah, because I know some guys in the States that are paying $500-$600 for leads on Zillow, just leads.
Mm-hmm.
Not closed appointments, not listings,
Mhm.
leads. And they close only about 50% of them. So their cost per acquisition is about $1,000 per. Crazy.
The volume's really low, low sales.
Yeah, the volume's not great either. They're like $300,000-$400,000. So their commission's like $5-6 grand. Terrible stuff.
I'm just very vague when they ask me for an incentive.
Do you find people ask?
Yeah.
I've never been asked.
It's always what's in it for me.
Yeah.
No, it's just, and I'm like, don't worry, I'll hook you up. That's what I say. And later on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the idea is dodge it as best you can.
Exactly.
And then surprise them with a nice gift at the end, just as a thank you. But to be fair, if you've got a good person that, let's say, didn't ask up front, let's remove that hypothetical from the situation. Let's say you didn't get asked. I believe firmly in rewarding the action, not the result. So if you take nothing else away from this training, take away that you reward the action, not the result. So hypothetical situation, Madison's not in real estate, but I know her because she does my banking. She's the teller that I go see all the time at TD. Okay, so whatever, we start up a couple conversations. I'm like, I'm in real estate, by the way. And then eventually I come in 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 more times. She's like, my sister's looking. I'm like, really? Is she committed to working with a real estate broker at this time? No? Awesome. Well, I'd love to apply for that job. Do you mind if I give her a shout? I get her contact information. Big brain move right there. We'll get to that in a second. And so I call. I have a great connection with Madison's sister. And away we go. We start shopping. I'm not going to wait for that sister to close. I'm not even going to wait to go out for the first visit. The second I make a connection with that, I'm going to arrive the next time at the bank with something.
Yeah.
Some kind of thank you.
Yeah.
Just thank you so much for the action of referring me. I don't care whether it pans out. I don't care if I write 20 offers with your sister and nothing ends up happening. That doesn't bother me. What I love is that you went out of your way to refer me. That's a huge thing that this person did when they refer you. I don't think you understand how much effort that takes. It's a huge amount of effort, and it's a huge amount of personal stake that they're putting.
Yeah.
Right? Because imagine it goes shit. Imagine they refer you, or they refer Delano, or they refer John or something, and something goes wrong. Doesn't even matter if it's your guys' fault. It is your fault, right? Anything goes wrong, who's to blame, right? I don't know, probably the real estate broker, right? So then the idea is the person who referred you, they're on the line now. They're gonna have an awkward dinner with that person. They're gonna have a rocky kind of friendship maybe for a couple of months. So the act of referring us is not a menial task by any means. It's something that should be treated with an insane amount of respect and thanks. So we do that by rewarding the action, not the result. Because especially if the guy's willing to refer you at all, that's just a beautiful thing. But even if you're closing 50%, 35%, 45% of the referrals, that's still amazing. And your ROI on whatever the hell you're doing as a thank you for them, you're gonna 10x that ROI, 20x that ROI, 100x that ROI, right? So let's start with Marty. Who did you add for your sphere? Give me just one or two names.
Mike Levy.
Awesome. That person wasn't in your follow-up us yet?
No, so it's one of my best friends.
I know.
He gave me a lead, which I'm shopping with him now.
Fantastic.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude. So we're gonna
But
get
he's
into
the one who says, hook me up, brother. So I'm giving you the sweet lead.
Yeah.
So for sure, I'll hook you up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you should have told him no, you asked now, so now I can't. But if you wouldn't have, you would have gotten a really sweet thank you for the action of referring me, and now you're not getting shit. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, I'll
That's what I would do to fuck with the guy,
Yeah.
honestly, but anyway, whatever. I know this guy, he's a nice guy, so yeah.
Cool.
Obviously you wanna hook him up. Who else added? Who else wants to share who they added? Connor, hit me.
I just added my hairdresser, my soccer coach, and a few people that I used to sit at McDonald's.
Sweet, awesome, absolutely. So this is an activity that can be done when you don't have appointments. You've done your lead gen in the morning, you don't have any appointments in the afternoon. What do? Build out your sphere. Let's say you really exhausted every possible ad you could possibly add into your sphere. Okay, now let's get down to it. So now we're gonna talk about the categorizations of the people in your sphere. So, good news is, categorizations are easy peasy lemon squeezy, okay? We got A plus, A, B, C, and D, okay? These are your categories. Each of the categories, similar to hot, nurture, watch, and archive, all have kind of quote unquote rules in terms of how often you should be reaching out to them or having any kind of contact with them, okay? So we'll go through that now. A plus, what are A plus? A plus are what we call raving fans. These people are crazy about you. These are the people that they have a conversation about anything. They could be having a conversation with Severo about fantasy football, and somehow they will segue that conversation into real estate and then name drop you. And have probably cards in their back pocket of you, because that's how freaking obsessed they are with you.
Wow.
They're raving fans of yours. You can expect 3 to 6 referrals from these people a year minimum. Whether you close all of them, that's up to you. That's also up to the quality of the clients, but you're gonna get 3 to 6 referrals from these people every single year minimum. So we call them raving fans. So these are raving fans. Now, the question is, how much time should you spend on them? Obviously, spoiler alert, you wanna spend the most amount of time on your raving fans. So what does that mean? That means a call every, give or take, 2 weeks, plus hangout monthly. Now, hangout monthly could be coming to the office and have a beer, could be coming to the office and have a coffee, could be let's meet for coffee somewhere, could be just like, hey, let me just pop by your house 2 seconds, are you in the area? I'm in the area anyways. Doesn't have to be like let me take you out to the keg. That's not what it's about, okay? It's just about getting face to face with this person constantly, because you're rewarding what it is that they're doing.
Would you think about a text instead of a call?
No,
No call?
no. Especially in this day and age. Especially in this day and age. Yeah. I mean, listen, if the guy's 25, maybe, right? But how many people are going to be raving fans of yours at 25 years old? Unlikely, I would think, you know? So even if you start with the call and they don't take your call, then you can hit them with a text. Say, hey man, just trying to call, just want to see how you're doing. That's it, you know? Like, how nice was it that the owner of the triplex just called you out of nowhere? You were telling Benji this story this morning. He just called you while he was walking his dog. He had nothing to say.
Oh, yeah, yesterday, last night.
He had nothing to say. He just called Severo to fucking hang out with him over the phone, basically.
That's so cute.
Like, that's adorable and awesome. That's sweet. So you don't really need like some big reason to call them. You're just calling them just to, just to chat. How's everything going? How's life?
Yeah, I think that was actually like our first rating fan, because last time we went, he was like, I can talk to you guys about it, to everybody.
Awesome.
I mentioned real estate, I mentioned your names.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You love to hear it. So, raving fans. A guys are still great. Don't get me wrong, they're still awesome, right? But they're not crazy. And I mean that endearingly, right? So you can expect like 3 referrals from an A client every single year. All right?
Still a lot.
It's still a lot, absolutely. Yeah. Loved your service. Your service can and does refer. So I don't like starting people in A or A plus ever. I like starting everybody in B and seeing how they upgrade. That's my personal preference because I find like sometimes I've been disappointed when I think somebody's going to be an A or an A plus. I put them there and then they don't match up with how often I'm reaching out to them, and they also don't match up to my expectations either. So it's kind of a recipe for disappointment, and I don't like being disappointed. So obviously A clients are great too, right? And so now the rule, similar to hot nurture, watch archive, obviously, is this one is a, hold on, let me just double check. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks. It's okay if you go over a little bit. It's not, the nice thing about your sphere, it's not an exact science. You know what I mean? Don't beat yourself up if you're a little late on one of these calls. Don't beat yourself up if you forget to do X, Y, or Z. It doesn't matter. You know, as long as you're doing something with your sphere regularly, you will see some kind of payoff. You know, you'll see, because here's the thing, man. We all do pretty good work. You know, sure, there's little hiccups here and there from various clients, and that's okay. But we all do really good work. We're equipped with the tools to do really good work on this team. So I almost expect them to want to share that. Because when I'm trolling around on the MLS, I got to tell you, there's a lot of listings I see that are done like shit. So, and I don't care that the mic's on. I know Severo's like, watch out, bro. Yeah, my God. Anyway, I would love to do a training on that live, just to show off some of these insane photos that you see. But so we know that, we see that, right? We see people upload listings with no written description. We see photos that were clearly taken, that seemingly with like an iPhone SE from 2015. But it's, you know, there's nothing we can do about that. But we do know that we do incredible work. We've got a wonderful photographer. We have a great creative writing specialist. We've got great agents working the file. We collaborate perfectly. So I think it's natural to expect and to share that kind of joy and exuberance with the clients and expect some kind of reciprocating relationship with them. You know, and you need to help them out too. It's not a one-way street. You can't just be like, hey, do all this stuff for me. You know, you're calling them, making sure that their house is good. Because remember, you're not just their agent. You're not just their broker, whatever you want to call us, right? You need to be their real estate resource for them to trust you with referrals. They got a leaky faucet. They shouldn't be calling a plumber. They should be calling you first. You know what I mean? Something wrong with the house, they should be calling you first before they call, maybe it's a hidden defect, before they call a lawyer, before they call this person or a plumber or a gyprock guy or a guy who's going to do an extension on the house or whatever. They should call you first. You should be their resource. If you are their resource center, then they will reciprocate in kind with referrals, because that's just over and above awesome service. Because most brokers are fly by night, make the sale and bounce, yes or yes. Right? So how do we differentiate? We become a real estate resource for them. So that's how you need to make it a two-way street. It can't just be a one-way street. Or else they'll just feel like, okay, well, I keep doing all this stuff. Then you're gonna have conversations of what's in it for me. Right? But if you followed up with, after you close on a sale, you followed up every month and you've made sure that they feel loved, they feel that somebody's in their corner no matter what happens, they're not gonna ask, hey, what's in it for me when they send a referral? Because they feel loved. So you're never gonna have that conversation if you follow up and you become a resource for them. So then, B clients. So these people, how do I define this? They have the capacity to refer you, I guess, is the easiest definition for this.
Like if someone asks them, they'll refer you?
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, the actual definition of a B client is they will refer you if asked. If you ask them to refer you, they will do it. You can expect 1 referral, maybe 2 per year from this person. Average. Some years might be more, some years might be less. But so will refer if asked, which is awesome. Okay? So obviously the person that will refer if asked is not going to get the exact same attention as some of these other guys, but that's fine. So we just call every 8 weeks. So every 2 months. Every 2 months, hit him with a call. How's everything going? How's the dog? How's the daughter? How's your son doing? I know he just started high school. It's an interesting time. How's that going? Have rigorous notes on these people. Rigorous notes. The power of notes is so important. Going to excruciating detail. Yes, Connor?
So these people in the B, as you take these rigorous notes like you're saying,
Yeah.
have the potential to move easily
Oh, yeah.
to A clients,
Sure.
A plus clients?
Absolutely. You monitor them. Like I said, I like putting almost all my database in B first, and then seeing how they pan out. Because then some people will start, really receiving your phone calls really well. So every 2 months they're like, oh, Connor, how's it going, man? Yeah, absolutely. Hey, did that guy call you? You're like, what guy? Oh, Steve, this guy Steve I spoke to. He was supposed to call you because he's looking to buy this investment property. He was already looking. Oh, great. Give me his number because I didn't get that call. So you have something like that. So that means really excited to hear from you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple more calls, see if it continues. And if it is, you might want to bump that guy up to A. And then start calling him a little more often, maybe start popping by, which we'll get into a little bit, little pop by gifts and shit like that. We'll get into that. It's an entire other section that I hope we'll have time for, but yeah.
And just quickly, for the referrals, if they're like, oh yeah, like say you phone them and they were like, oh, Steve was supposed to call you, let's say, but he didn't call you.
Yeah.
Should you right away just be like, hey, give me his
Absolutely.
number, I'm calling him?
Yeah. So we'll segue there for now. It's so important to get the contact information of the referrer.
Okay.
So if John is somebody and he's going to refer me a client, the natural thing that he's going to do is say, I'm going to ask him to call you. It's no good.
No.
So what I like is to treat the client or the database person or whatever you want to call them, treat them with respect, both during the conversation, but also respect their intelligence. Don't try and tell them some kind of sales wizardry story. Nobody wants to hear that shit. What you want to say is, in my experience, and I've been doing this a little while now, that doesn't work. Tell them that straight up. In my experience, that doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is the guy might feel awkward calling me. He's never spoken to me. He might take your word for it. He might not. I'll tell you what. Send me his contact information. I'll call him. I've done this call a bazillion times. Trust me, I'll make sure that he feels really comfortable. Does that sound okay to you?
I love that, Logan.
You know what I mean?
That's really good.
Yeah.
You got to just soften it up and don't bullshit them. Nobody likes to be bullshitted.
Yeah.
In this day and age, we have access to so much information and so much tech, so much knowledge. Nobody likes to be bullshitted. So just tell the truth always, or at the very least, don't lie. So yeah, that's your B clients. Your C clients, this is an interesting one. So the definition of a C client is would refer if taught how.
I thought you were gonna say it's nagged.
No, taught how. They want it. They're a part of your database. They enjoyed your service just as much as anybody else, or they enjoyed maybe your past work experience. Maybe they enjoyed, they enjoyed golfing with you. They enjoy hanging out with you. They enjoy you as a person. Okay. Prerequisite to being in your database is they should enjoy you as a person, right? So then the only thing is they don't know how to refer. That's okay. They're not a salesperson.
But how does that call go? Because you don't call them really that often.
Yeah. So it's usually every quarter.
Yeah, I would want to pitch them something,
You don't have to pitch them.
So do you call a couple of times just to chat and then teach them?
So here's the thing,
Or what do you do?
and so we'll segue into this conversation right now, is that it depends how you've been speaking to them this entire time.
Let's say you
So
have
if you've been, okay. So great question. So okay, let's do a quick role play of how I would do it if I haven't spoken to somebody in a year, and I don't really know where they're at.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I'm putting them in B right away, because I don't know where they're at. They could go down, they could go up, but I'm gonna put them in B right now. So I'm gonna call them, and usually this is how I would recommend the phone call go. Ring, ring, you say.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hi, Marty.
Yeah, that's cool.
Marty, it's Logan Boyce. How are you doing?
Oh, hey, what's up, man?
Nothing much, man. Listen, I first of all want to come straight out the gate and apologize. I know it's been over a year since we closed on 123 Main Street, and I absolutely dropped the ball by not reaching out to you sooner. So let me start by like I said, apologizing and then checking in. How is the house? How have you been enjoying it?
It's been alright.
Awesome.
A couple little problems. but
Sorry?
okay.
We sold the house actually.
Yeah. We sold it with another realtor because we hate you. No, so he would say something like, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, if he wants to be really cold, he'd be like, yeah, it's fine. Awesome. Great. Listen, Marty, part of what I want to do going forward in my career is I'm looking back at all the transactions I've done, and I've thought about the people that I've helped. And you were at the top of my list in I had a blast working with you. So I want to work with more people like you. So the first thing I want to do is I want to commit to being your real estate resource. And what that means is anything happens in your house, whether you want to put a pool, you want to put a deck, you got a leaky faucet or whatever, I want you to call me first. And I promise I'm going to be more diligent with following up with you. How does that sound?
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool, man.
Sounds good.
So that's how I would start the call if I haven't spoken to the guy in like a year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go for the referral right away. I'm not going to be like, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for referrals. Like, no, that's not the time.
Yeah.
You know, because then the entire thing loses the fact that it's genuine.
Yeah.
Because it is genuine. I do want to follow up with him more often. I do want him to call me if there's anything. I do want to be a real estate resource for him, right? So I hit him with all that, and I can just end the call politely after that. I said, listen, Marty, it was great talking to you. You know, like I said, if you have any questions at all, give me a shout. I'm always available. And like I said, I'm going to be better at following up with you, making sure that you're still really enjoying that house on 123 Main Street. Sound good?
Yeah, good.
Awesome. That's it. So obviously, like, if I would actually workshop that script properly with a pen and paper, probably be more questions. I talked way too much on that call. That's okay. You know, I can just add more questions the next time we talk.
So straight up, you kind of.
First thing is you open up and apologize.
Yeah,
First thing. Yeah. First thing.
You don't tell, hey, how's your summer going? You apologize first.
Oh yeah.
Never have to apologize.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's fine. But that's good. There's power in that,
yeah.
right? So if you're reading How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Like for me, like Kim and Neil.
Yeah.
I haven't called them in a year.
Yeah.
They referred me.
Yeah, you call them and apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be like, listen, I really enjoyed working with you. Honestly, I can give you a million reasons, personal bullshit, business bullshit, but at the end of the day, it's all bullshit. I'm just here to apologize and to say I'm going to do better moving forward. Most people are going to be like, what do you mean? You're totally fine. Oh my God. They're going to feel that you're genuinely sorry, and that's going to make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, no, you're so fine, Marty. We really enjoyed working with you too, blah, 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 blah. That's really how the call typically goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know because my dad's made that call like a million times.
Yeah.
And yeah, so don't stress about that,
No.
you know, because like you're reading How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
So by apologizing, you're putting the power in their hand.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, you think that shifts the power dynamic, but it actually doesn't. It's you are the one who put the power in their hands. So it's technically still your
in
power.
charge, yeah.
You're still running the show. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
So-
Actually, when people see like somebody that they're talking to is vulnerable, they won't just stomp on it.
Never.
No.
Oh, okay.
Never.
That's true.
Unless
That's
they're
true.
assholes and you don't want to put them in.
Yeah.
Exactly. If they're assholes, then you put them in the D category.
That's it.
It's true. You don't want to work with them anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, can anybody tell me what D stands for?
That's it.
Disgusting.
The one that just
Dumpster, yeah, I guess.
The league.
Yeah, that's exactly what it stands
What's
for.
awesome, yeah.
It's the lead.
I presume.
So for the new people in the room, you guys don't have any of these yet. But for those of us who are in the room with a little more experience, not every file goes swimmingly. Right? There are some people that are in our database that every time we look at it, we get a little bit angry or we get a little upset. Or it brings us back to that file and we just are like, ugh. And that's okay. You know, we're human at the end of the day. Like, you can't look at us as salespeople or as realtors and feel like we're supposed to be these like perfect people that put this facade on 24/7. That's unrealistic. So when we look at our database and we see, you know, David Johnson, and I remember that my file with David Johnson went like shit. This happened, that happened. He blamed me for that. I owned up to it because that's who I am. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I should have thought that through. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, I mean, it's kind of my fault, but not really. You know, I'm just trying to own up to everything to, you know, basically put the power in other person's hand, you know? And it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare file. And every time I see his name,
That's a real story?
it just, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have any of those stories.
David Johnson.
I don't have any of those stories. I actually do have many of those stories. Not many,
Yeah.
but like I have a few of those stories where it's just like people People just
Oh.
really, really unappreciative.
Yeah.
You'll
And-
see Amanda.
Yeah. So there's always a couple of people here and there. Like right in the beginning of my career, I sold a property in I think it's El Perro on Matty Cool. Is that El Perro? I don't know. You guys live out there. That's why I asked. But anyway, so I sold one of these properties, and we had a listing, and then we got another listing in the separate building, and that one sold first, and that really pissed these guys off, and they tried to fire us and all the rest of it. It was a terrible experience, awful experience. And they were my first people in this category, in the delete category. This is when I was being coached by Brian Buffini. So I was like, yeah, this is no good. So the idea is that if you look at something in your database and you see that it's actively draining your energy, get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's what delete stands for.
I realize that's cool.
And you have to be self-actualized enough to know that it's removing energy from you and you're just not being a little bitch. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But you
So-
can feel it when you see something, you just like feel it, you know?
Yes, but I know there's snowflakes everywhere that might feel that when they shouldn't. They're just like, they might feel that because they haven't called them in a year.
Okay.
That's not the same thing.
No.
So you have to really understand why you're feeling what you're feeling when you're looking at a person and whether they deserve to be put in the D category. Does that make sense? I'm not worried about you, by the way.
That's really like a flashback of like a situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So this is your categorization, okay? Now, what do you do? Obviously, you can make these calls. Sometimes you're gonna get in touch with them. Sometimes you're not gonna get in touch with them. What else can you do? So there's two things that Brian Buffini teaches that completely changed how my dad generated referrals. And keep in mind, he had been in the business for like 15 years before we got coached by Brian Buffini. So the first thing, handwritten notes. When is the last time you received a handwritten note? You've never received a
Oh,
handwritten
wait,
note?
wait.
Doesn't count. A note. A real note, not just happy birthday, man.
Yeah, like my girlfriend said, have a good day at work, and like, you know.
Nah, it's shit. No, I'm talking about bigger. Like at least a paragraph.
Is it postcards now?
No. Postcard, did he fill the postcard? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Awesome.
I was like in high school.
Yeah? High school, wow.
Yeah.
Christmas cards for
I
my
got it.
clients that I didn't see for a very long time.
That's
They
super
sent
nice.
it to Remax that
Oh,
they
that's
never
nice.
told me, and then when I saw all my things, I was like, and I forgot
Aw.
to tell them Merry Christmas. I felt like crap.
Uh-oh.
They were so nice, yeah. I know.
It was when I was at McDonald's on my last day.
Someone gave you a handwritten card?
Well, for Christmas as well, I got handwritten cards.
But on your last day, what happened on your last day?
I got a note that said just best of luck. Here's a dinner on me.
Okay. So a little small, but that's fine. So the more and more we move to this like virtual digital age, the more value is in these. So it's funny, the more that most people think this has no value, the more it does have value.
Yeah. When me and Andrew were passing out handwritten notes for expires.
Yeah.
Like this old lady actually called us and was like, we had a lot of stuff from realtors, but you're the first one that we called because of this handwritten note. that you
Yeah.
guys did."
Dude, handwritten notes are so powerful.
Can't wait to.
Is that the one that says farming comment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's obviously not handwritten. There are ways of making it look handwritten. Blue ink obviously is how to do that, but I'm not here to talk about how to cheat the system. I'm talking about how to do the system. So these types of things are really cool. If you're driving around, let's say once again, you've done your lead gen in the morning, don't have appointments, and you've done, 5 or 6 sphere calls, and you just feel like, all right, it's 1:30. I got here at 9 or 8:30 or whatever. It's nowhere near quitting time. What am I doing? Day's not a wash. We're not going to Manwar. So what do we do? This is a perfect thing to do. Write out 5 handwritten notes to people in your sphere. Sample dialogue. Hey, Susan. Was just driving by your area and thought about you. Really hope everything's going well with your 2 cats. Hope they're not still fighting every day. Smiley face.
So sweet.
Anyways, have an awesome week. Your favorite realtor, Logan Boyce.
I love
Close the card,
that.
put it in her mailbox.
Yeah, very
You can get custom gift cards on Tim Hortons.
Huh?
can get custom gift cards when 10 points.
Oh,
Okay.
They have a website where you can get custom gift cards, like you can do your
But
face
it's not
or your logo.
handwritten.
No, I'm just saying to send out them a card, like send somebody a coffee.
Yeah. So that's cool. I like that. That's going to go more into the second thing right here. The handwritten note. I don't like anything to go with it.
Yeah.
I don't like anything inside. I don't like any gift card. No fucking little gift from Dollarama. Nothing.
What's your business card?
No.
Not
Yeah,
yours.
you already have it.
You already have it.
You could have your number, maybe.
Yeah, you can put your number at the bottom and just have a little note, like in case you lost it.
Would you do a
Yeah.
business card?
No.
Not a business card, a business gift. No. A business, you know how you can make a business card? Like, not business cards, but a card, a business. Like a normal card, right?
Are you telling me what kind of card I'm
That's
using?
what I'm saying. Would you use a professional card?
No. So okay, so it's a good question, and the answer is very simple. The cards that you should use are the ones that you buy from Dollarama.
Just like a postcard kind of thing.
They're literally cards that fold, and they've got really nice ones for various seasons. They've got one that has like a nice fence with flowers on it for the spring. They've got one that has a bike with a bunch of leaves for the fall. They've got it all.
But it's like
And
a
it's-
pack with a lot.
Yeah,
of
there's
them.
like 5 in a pack for like $2 or something.
Yeah.
You wouldn't make them on Vistaprint?
No, God, who cares, dude? It's nothing about that. It's not about the gift card. It's not about having your face on it. It's nothing about that. It's just about, hey, this is obviously something I literally just did, either at my office or in my car, because I genuinely was thinking about it.
Ready from the McDonald's and
No. But so the idea is they open it and their heart melts. So literally exactly what happens. Handwritten notes are the most powerful thing you could possibly do with your database.
Imagine they're having a bad day and they come home to that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
So one of the most memorable situations. This was like years before John came from Toronto and years before Delano joined the team too. We were handing out handwritten notes to the database. You know, sometimes it's hard to find like little things to draw from. You know, I know Susan pretty well. That's why I brought up the cats and the fighting and stuff like that. You should have rigorous notes to be able to cite all of this stuff. But if you don't, you're gonna have to get a little bit more generic, and that's not the end of the world. It's, again, they don't give a shit. They just know that you took the time to write something to them, and they just freak out. So we had sent like 2 or 3 at this time, and then we get a call from one of the people in my dad's database saying, hey, you know, come list our house. I was just a kid at the time. I was like 23 or something like that. I don't remember. So we go. I swear to God, I can't make this up. All 3 of the notes that we had sent were stood up on the fireplace mantle.
Oh, that's so nice.
I was blown away.
How old are they?
50, 55, something like that.
With family people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Older clients will love that.
Older client, doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter the age. I got my first handwritten note, like, and of course I'd been exposed to this a little bit, but I received a handwritten note from Jeff one year, thanking me for whatever it is. But he wrote it by hand. Yeah, I think it was the first time I spoke at the team building summit. He had sent me literally a written note in the mail, saying, "Hey man, thanks. I had a blast. You know, cited some things, like made it very personal. Like he wrote this." to me.
Yeah.
And I opened it up. I was like, "This is amazing." Like, I freaked out. I felt like I was one of my clients. It was hilarious, dude. Doesn't matter the age, because the younger people, literally, the last time he got one was in high school, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
You know, so they're so rare, and we know that when things are rare, they're worth a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is that if people don't receive it very often, there's a certain like magic to it. You know, and I wish there was another word to use, but it's magic.
What did you get, like, why didn't you just fix it?
No.
No.
Unless he's got 3.
If he's, dude, that's a D. That's a D question.
Yeah.
That's a D question. And also, it's a pretty easy answer too. So you say, hey, like, really nice note, but like, why didn't you just text me? My answer would be very simple. I just give really personal touches to all my clients.
No one is gonna say that unless they're like 16 years old. I'm sorry.
16, yeah, would be the cutoff for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything over 16, and they'd probably appreciate it.
Yeah.
So the second thing after handwritten, sorry, any questions on this before I move on?
No.
So the idea is you can build out actionables, you know, 5x per day, 20x per week, whatever. Like make it sustainable with the number of people in your database. If you got 40 people in your database, you obviously can't be doing 20 a week. You know what I mean? But how easy would it be to do 5 a week if you had 40 people in your database? And you do that, let's say 3 times a year. That's a joke.
Sorry, 5 a week. You need 500 emails a week?
Yeah.
Per person or just for those 40? Like to fill out 40 people?
Yeah, just to fill up the 40 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like 5 a week.
No, not
for
5.
40 people. Okay.
Not 5 per person.
Okay.
That'd be crazy.
I was like so confused.
They would tell you to stop for.
They'd be like, and restraining order.
I'm thinking about you.
Still thinking about you.
You still haven't written me back or called me for my last one.
Oh my god.
No worries.
Guys, I wish I knew the lyrics to Stan right
I
now.
was just thinking about it, I couldn't figure out what this is.
I left my cell phone, my pager, and my home phone at the bottom. You must not have got
I
him.
wrote professors on the sloppy.
Yeah.
You must not have got him.
Yeah. So good. Okay, so the next thing that's actionable that you can
So
do
wait,
with your
sorry,
database.
how many times for the same person?
I would do it 3 times a year.
Yeah.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
So as a guy, do I write to the
Both.
man, to the wife, or to both?
Both.
To both. To both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like John, let's say he wants to write something to Kevin and Kat. Be like, hey, Kevin, Kat.
Kevin and Pam. Yeah.
We're just like, hey guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, I don't like the guys, and the reason I don't like the guys is because what if you just wrote a bunch of that? Like, let's say you don't know them super specifically, you're getting very generic. I don't want to give them any clues like this wasn't specifically for them. You know what I mean? So mention their names. Names are really important. So the second thing that's actionable here are the Popeyes. What? It's killing me. Popeyes, another easy, actionable thing to manage your database. So this is where we're gonna derail into a little bit of a gift conversation as well, because the Popeyes is where Benji. This is where I would suggest coming by with something, just kind of like some kind of gift, not big like the same gift you would give to thank them for a referral, just something little. So the cornier the better.
Yeah.
Like get them seeds in the springtime.
Seeds.
Yeah, seeds.
Like a fly swatter in the summer or something.
Sure. Yeah, little fly swatter. What's that cost? $1 $3.
No, it's like a
Little things like that.
Seeds are great for first-time home buyers.
Seeds are awesome. Plus, you can make some kind of corny pun on seeding the relationship or something like that. Anything that you can be corny about with these Popeyes is great because it's just like the easiest dad joke ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, all you do is you just pop by. It's depending on your comfort level with the client, you can do it either unannounced or you have to announce yourself. So I've done both. I've done ones where I just pop by unannounced and it's fun. The surprise is cool. It's fun. But you need to know that they're going to be there. Obviously, you don't want to go for nothing, right? So if it's somebody that I'm not super comfortable with, I'll call ahead. I'll be like, hey, are you going to be around like 3 o'clock today? It's 9 in the morning. Hey, are you going to be around 3 o'clock today? Yeah? Awesome. Cool. I'm going to be in the area. I just thought I'd pop by and see how you're doing.
Why? Why are you coming by in the area?
Dude, nobody asked that.
No one asked that?
My
That's a
entire
key
life,
question.
That's ridiculous.
I've never been asked that. They might say, well, is there a reason?
Yeah.
They won't say why. Nobody says why. Why is so confrontational? Why is the most confrontational question in the entire world? So they might say, is there a reason? No reason at all. I got a little something for you. I'm going to be in the area anyways.
Okay. I got a little something for you.
So the thing is, like, when you remove any one of these things from the, hold on, I'm gonna wait for them to stop. When you remove any of these from the equation fails. If you just do a pop by randomly to somebody you've never spoken to in the last 12 months, yeah, you're probably gonna get asked that question.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you've made the first call, you've made the second call, you've written them a handwritten note, and then you make the third call, then you make the fourth call. On the fourth call, you say, are you gonna be around at 3 p.m. today? Yeah.
But it's not
Is there, yeah, I'm gonna be around. Great, I'm gonna pass by. I got a little something for you, and I just miss you, man. You know? Whatever you wanna say. They're not gonna say shit, I promise you. But if you remove one of these things randomly, so for instance, let's say you didn't make any of the calls and you just write them a handwritten note, that's gonna be fucking weird. Yes or yes?
Yes.
right? But if you've made the calls, they understand what you're doing. In the calls, you need to make it very clear. You know, let's say you are calling the person that you haven't spoken to in a year.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you've
That's
had
what we
that
do.
first apology call. That's great. Second call, a month, 6 weeks later, whatever the amount of time you want, you call them back and you say, hey, following through on my commitment. That's why I'm calling. You don't need any other reason. I'm calling to follow through on my commitment. I want to see how everything's going with your house, and I want to know what's up with you in your life. You know, and then they're going to be like, yeah, everything's great, man. Don't worry about it. You know, whatever they're going to say. Great. Well, listen, as I told you the last time, I'm really focusing on working with people that I like. I really like doing business with you, and I hope you like doing business with me. You wait. You say, yeah, well, of course, you're Marty. Yeah, you're my boy, Marty. Yeah, for sure. Say, great. Well, listen, I'm transitioning my business to be almost entirely off referral. So I know I'm going to like working with your friends and family. So do you have a realtor right now that you're recommending? That's the first one. Do you have a realtor that you're recommending right now? They'll all say no, you. No, of course not. It's you, of course, Marty. Come on, hey, great. You know,
Or they say yes.
I
I want to be prepared for these like wrenches.
Yeah. So if they say
Oh, it's a family friend. She just got her license.
okay, awesome. So are you comfortable referring your friends and family to somebody who just got their license? Or would you probably stick with me at least for the interim until that person gets a little more experience?
Okay.
That's how I'd handle that, but that's never gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
Never in a million years will that happen. So it's like I wanna give you the tools for the worst case scenario, but I
Yeah.
also don't want you to think that it's even remotely possible.
Okay.
Because it's just not. If you've done work with these people before, the chances of them magically getting another person they're gonna recommend, it's like zero.
Well, there's, yeah.
Of course not, because it's an awkward conversation. Who the hell wants to have an awkward conversation over the phone?
Yeah.
Zero people.
What I've told people before too, like people I haven't called them in a while, was
Yep.
also because usually people only call me when there's a problem. So I'm used to since I figured you were the one calling me, I just figured everything's okay. But that's my fault issue.
I like that, but I like it shrouded in the apology a little bit better. Yeah, I really like that because it humbles you. No, there isn't, and there shouldn't be. Yeah, because if you're reading from a script, it's gonna come across like shit.
You could flip it on them too. Why didn't you call me?
In 2 years.
So I would do that if you made
Yeah, I'm so
if you
offended.
made the notary joke. If you made the notary joke, I would totally fucking do that. So actually, let me rewind a little bit. All of this becomes really, really easy when you set the precedent at the notary. At the notary, you say, hey, by the way, and you make the unemployed joke. It is, dude, this joke bats 1,000.
I
Dude,
love that.
it bats 1,000. It never fails. It's the best thing, and it makes your entire follow-up plan from then on easy as pie. You say, great, everyone's shaking hands. You say, hey, John, listen, man, great transaction. I really enjoyed working with you. And he says, yeah, me too, man. I'm really happy to own this house. I said, great. Well, listen, I got some bad news. I'm unemployed now. And he's gonna look at me like I left the real estate industry. And I'm gonna say, what I mean by that is that I sold you your house, and now I need to find more people who need to buy houses. Does that make sense? He says, yeah, great. This is where you come in, John. I need your help. In 30 days, I'm going to call you. I'm going to need some names. Can I count on you? The key part there, the most important part of that sentence was what?
30 days.
Can I count on you? You're getting them. You're getting them to commit to something. Can I count on you, dude? That's so powerful. Yeah.
Then when you call them back in that 30 days, you can then classify them DCBA.
Pretty much, yeah, absolutely. In the 30 days, they're gonna forget, and that's totally fine. You know, you call them in 30 days, and you say, hopefully not that much. Hopefully not that much. But you will have natural kind of like, you know what, man, I'm sorry. They'll apologize to you. And you say, oh, listen, no worries, but I am just calling to remind you. But anyway, let's put that aside. How's the house? How are you enjoying everything? You know, don't come down on them too hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just a reminder, still unemployed, and then you guys have a nice laugh about it. But
Maybe might need to live in there for a while.
That's funny, dude. But yeah, so if you start your transactions like that, your entire sphere follow-up and database action plans become so easy. Because just from the get, they know the expectation is to help you with growing your business. And then they also are going to expect that you're going to help them with anything that they need real estate-wise from now until the end of time. So that's powerful stuff too.
and if there's no notary, or because me and John, our property on that I got recently went through, and the notary was like last week, and there was no brokers allowed at the notary. So after, like, we do the same thing, just basically over the phone?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, you call them after, congratulate them, hit them with the unemployed joke, and away you go. So yeah, so Popeyes is usually just either announced or unannounced, and you have a small gift. So this is where you can get some custom Tim Hortons gift cards. That sounds like fun. This is where you can come with seeds. You can come with little chocolates for Easter. You know, little things like that. You know what I mean? And you just pop by, you say hi, and this is where you hit them with. It's called the Columbo close. So a lot of people don't know that because it's a really old TV show. So this guy is a detective, and his entire thing was he would know what was going on, but the whole idea with a detective is you need to get the guy to admit, right? So he'd be doing his thing, and he'd be like, okay, so your story checks out. All right. You'd be walking away and you go, by the way, and you'd come back and hit him with that like big reveal, and it was, oh my God, Columbo does it again. So the Columbo close is the oh by the way close, right? So the idea is when you go do the pop by, you know, you go ahead and high five the whole thing. Here's your gift. Oh, that's so funny seeds, right? Because we're starting a relationship. Oh, that's cool, man. All right, cool. And then you're walking away. You go back to your car. Oh, Marty, by the way, you know I'm never too busy for your referrals. Or however you want to reshape that. You know, you say whatever the hell you want, but the core content is, I would love to have your referrals. That's the core part of the content. And that's the Columbo close.
Columbo.
Where you're walking away, you're walking to your Tesla, and you're like, what? Oh, by the way, refer me though, right? Just do it. Just refer me, period. Just do it. Yeah, I love it. Branding, marketing, I love it. That's it, guys. Open Q&A. Let's do open Q&A for Sphere for, I don't know, 5 minutes. And then we're going to cut the live, and then we're going to have David come up here and answer some questions and tell us what's going on with the mortgage market right now. Yeah, you're leaving. Yeah, absolutely. You did? Okay. Did you find them on MLS? Did you find them on MLS yet? Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I will stand up now.
So he's going to find some comps on MLS while I do open Q&A, and then I'm going to print out some stuff on JLR from him while David comes and answers all your questions mortgage-wise. So open Q&A for Sphere. Everybody internalize a lot of this stuff. What are some takeaways? What's up?
Well, I want to know, as a young broker with friends who are my age.
Yep.
Sphere is not something that I can really rely on just now.
Nope.
How do I basically insure myself for the future through my Sphere? Like,
you don't.
No.
So I came to this realization as well. I was once a very young broker, and being trained with Brian Buffini was obviously it was good information, but my ability to act on it was incredibly limited because I was so young, and all my friends were a bunch of degens, right?
Same.
So so you can still do it, but it's just how many of your friends are actually ready to buy property? Probably not very many of them.
You have to select
But you, on the other hand, are not in the same position that I was in. So you've built a lot of connections working at McDonald's. You built a lot of connections working at the golf course. So you're in a position that's significantly better than what I was in. So I obviously internalized all the knowledge that I received getting coached by Brian Buffini, but the majority of my business came when I started getting coached by Mike Ferry, getting on the phone, calling for sell by owners, calling expireds, calling internet leads, all of that kind of stuff. This was before internet leads, but just picking up the phone and creating something from nothing is how I started my business. So you want to internalize all this knowledge. You want to basically put it into a smaller bucket because you know that your Sphere is going to be a small bucket right now. So it's not where you want to spend a tremendous amount of your time, you specifically, because of your age, but you don't want to close the bucket entirely. You want to focus on where you think you're going to be getting those referrals. Maybe it's now, maybe it's down the line. And those two places are going to be the database you built up at McDonald's and the people you golf with. You should not be golfing with anybody your age ever under any circumstances. You know, your 25-year-old boys want to fucking golf with you? No. You want to golf with old dudes.
Just putting myself in places.
Dude, you should be golfing alone, joining threesomes every single day. That's what you should do. That's how Chef Abby started. Dude, he started when he was 18 years old. He's worth, I don't know how many freaking $1 million right now. But he started at the golf course, just networking. So that needs to be your second office, is your golf course. Obviously, you don't do it during lead gen time, but find threesomes, join threesomes. You should be calling the T-box guy should know your name. You're like, Connor, oh yeah, you're probably looking for a threesome. Yeah, cool, I got one at 2. Is that good for you? I got anything a little later? Yeah, I got 3. Perfect, I'm there. Never golf with your friends.
Okay.
You golf with your friends when you're old, dude. Golf with your friends when you've made $6 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Join randos.
Yeah.
Tell them you're in real estate. And then kick their ass.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay.
Drain the 20-foot putt and then remind them after that. Be like, also, I'm in real estate.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be the, dude, if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, fuck, all right, fine. I'm working with them.
Right, keys.
Yeah. Any other questions?
One more question that I had. Archive and delete clients. Same thing or completely different?
Totally different. Yeah, so D is basically based on like past trauma.
Okay.
And archive is just something that hasn't popped yet.
Okay.
And doesn't really deserve a ton of your follow-up time right now.
Got it.
But there's a lot of money in archive leads.
And
There's so much money. You guys should be exporting those and bringing them into Mojo and just plowing through them. Yeah, good question though. What else?
We didn't touch on any types of in-person events or anything like that.
Yeah, we didn't have time.
Yeah. Any quick notes on that, or it's a whole other subject?
It's really is a whole other subject, but I will tell you that obviously, John, the one asking the question, is one of the only people that's actually done it with any kind of form of success. And it's awesome. You want to do that often. You want to do it as often as possible, because if you don't do it often enough, it becomes weird. It's like what I was saying. It's any part of this equation gets lifted, the equation fails. So if you're doing all the things that you're doing, but you're not doing, let's say, an event, and you wait 3 years to do the event, it's going to feel a little weird. But if you do the event every single X amount of time, whether it's 12 months or 6 months, then they come to expect it. And then when they go to the event, they know what it is. They know what they're there for. They're there to give testimonials to Veronica. They're there to, have a good time, but be reminded of who you are and what you're about. So doing it more regularly, I would say, is probably the key that a lot of people miss. So
Actually, I'll ask this question. It's a
Perfect.
personal one.
cool, guys. That's where we'll call it. I'm going to cut the stream. Thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate you all. Rock and roll.